Hello, welcome to Devlog number 5. I wanted to share a little bit of progress that I've made on the enemy surrounding system. I've actually moved on a little bit, even more from that, and I'm working a bit on the attack system. But today I want to talk about improvements I made to the enemy chasing and surrounding. So if you remember if you watched last episode, you'd see that there was a big environment query that made enemies approach the target and select locations that were kind of maximizing coverage around the target, and it was working well enough. But one thing I didn't like about it was there was a little bit of a feeling of scrambling at the beginning when they first when they get to the player. There was a lot of AI crossing, running in front of each other to get to their selected location, and that is partly due to having this one big query where everyone is selecting points, and then you know AI kind of start running out of good points, and the best points start being ones that are a little bit further away from them, and they have to run by other AI or run right by the player in order to get to that location. So I wanted to make some improvements to that. So, and I have, and I want to talk a little bit about what's going on now. So here you'll see them chasing the player, and then they get close, and you see that in a couple seconds I'm already surrounded by the AI, and they kind of shift and get a nice spreading out from each other. And if I run away from them, they all enter the chase state again, and they'll come up to me, and yeah, and you'll see that pretty quickly I am once again surrounded. I'll show it one more time. Yeah, so I'm pretty happy with that. Yeah, what you see here is a combination of a few different behaviors. If I go out and show my state tree, this is the state tree for that enemy type, the grunts I'm calling them, and uh, you'll see that they are, well, actually, I can turn on debugging so you can see the states as they enter them. So then they're idle, they're on the chase state, and you can see they're selecting locations that are kind of spread out. And here you see these enemies with spheres over their heads. They have these engage tokens, and these are tokens that are limited. They're currently a maximum of 3, and they allow the AI to enter a different state, which is a different behavior. It's ultimately still surrounding behavior, but it's a different behavior. So if you see here in the engage state, you'll see that there's a if actor has engaged token and entry condition. Sorry, here. And so if I were to turn this off, and actually if I add another let me basically, I'm going to turn it off by saying that it both has to have the engaged token and not have an engaged token. This way nobody can ever enter the engaged behavior. So now you're going to see what their spreading out behavior is. And actually, before I show that, I should show that there's all the behaviors that are being entered. Ignore the attack state because I'm not gonna talk about that today. But first, when they first acquire a target, they enter the chase state, and the chase state consists of selecting a location and moving to that location. And it's really the same thing with the spread out state. They select a location and move to that location. And then there's a wait state after they have found a location they're happy enough with. So I'm going to have them chase me. And you see there, they're on the chasing state. And then when they get into the combat area, they enter this spread out state. And the conditions for entering this state are basically if they have enemies to the left and to the right, then they have enemies on both sides, so they won't spread out. But if they have enemies on one side and not on the other side, then they'll definitely enter that state. And so that makes them kind of start finding, improving their locations from each other, improving their spread. But you will notice that they're not really surrounding the player. They're just kind of spreading out close to the player on one side, and that kind of gets you eventually to be a little bit surrounded. But so that's where the engage behavior comes in. So the players that are closest in terms of their attack, distance, preferred attack distance, they will get these engage tokens, and they will enter a behavior where they're allowed to query locations that are prioritizing getting away from other enemies, prioritizing distance from other enemies' waypoints. The waypoints are those locations that you see there in blue. So when they select a location, they want to make sure that that location doesn't have any other waypoints very close to it. And so yeah, so the enemies that are closest will get an engage token, and then they'll really prioritize surrounding the player. To do that, I had to create this helper because my waypoints are stored inside the state tree. I have a parameter called waypoint, which gets overwritten by these environment query tasks, and it's fine for it that it gets overwritten, but then the things have no way to access it from outside. So I had to go and create a helper. Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong place. So I had to create a helper to get parameters out of the state tree. So anyway, now that if I'm able to pull parameters out of the state tree, then that means that I can do things such as query locations that have that don't overlap other waypoints. I can pick locations where you check around the environment query system item, and you make sure that there's no waypoint or fewer waypoints around that location. And that's where you get this nice spreading out behavior, both for the spreading and the engaging. So the important thing, and that means you have to create some custom environment query tests, which are pretty neat and pretty useful for this kind of thing, where you want a group to behave kind of like seemingly in unison. You need to kind of be able to query everyone and look at their data, like query everyone around you and look at where are you heading to, so to make sure that I don't head to the same location. So yeah, so I think I'm pretty happy with this surround behavior. It looks like a group of enemies that's kind of taking turns to attack you. Not taking turns, sorry. That's kind of prioritizing other enemies getting closer and surrounding, while others just kind of wait to see if there's an opening. So pretty happy with that. I think one thing I haven't talked about that I might talk about in a future video is the movement here is not just the Unreal basic movement. I programmed steering behavior system, and that's what's moving the enemies. I can quickly show that here. You can see there's a bunch of tasks that are steered to the to path and avoid actors that are on the same team as you. And so maybe I'll talk about that in a future video. And then what I'm currently working on is to have this attack system for enemies to take turns attacking you one after another and having these kind of attack waves, kind of Ghost of Tsushima style. So hope that was interesting. It's a lot of fun to program this, a lot of neat C++, and I hope I come back with good news on the next video, showing maybe a little bit of combat, or maybe I'll just talk about the steering behavior system. I'm not sure. Okay, cheers.